state is against it, number one. I don't support it when the release of methane or contamination of water is present. I don't support it, number three, unless we can require that anybody who fracks has to tell us exactly what chemicals they are using. So by the time we get through all of my conditions, I do not think there will be many places in America where fracking will continue to take place. And I think that's the best approach, because right now there are places where fracking is going on that are not sufficiently regulated.
Can't wait for Bernie's answer.
We've got to regulate everything that is currently underway, and we have to have a system in place that prevents further
Can't believe she opened herself up like this.
Like the ones that I just mentioned are met.
Senator Sanders,
my answer is a lot shorter. No, I do not support fracking. And by the way, Anderson, I'm glad you raised the issue of climate change, because media doesn't talk enough about what the scientists are telling us, and that is if we don't get our act together, the planet that we're going to leave our children may not be healthy and habitable. I have introduced the most comprehensive climate change legislation in the history of the Senate, which, among other things, calls for a tax on carbon, massive investments in energy efficiency, wind, solar, and other sustainable energy. Senator, this is a crisis we have got to deal with now.
Senator Sanders, to Secretary Clinton's point, there are a number of Democratic governors in many states who say that fracking can be done safely and that it's helping their economies. Are they wrong?
Yes. One of the differences, look, Secretary Clinton, and I've said this before, and I admit it, she has the support of all the governors, Democratic, all the senators, all the congressmen. I don't. I am not part of that establishment. I plead guilty.
Woo! Bernie!
To be a member of the Environmental Committee. I have talked to scientists all over the world. And what they are telling me, if we don't get our act together, this planet could be 5 to 10 degrees warmer by the end of this century. Cataclysmic problems for this planet. This is a national crisis. And I talk to scientists who tell me that fracking is doing terrible things to water systems all over this country. We have got to be bold now. We've got to transform our energy system to energy efficiency and sustainable energy. We've got to do it yesterday.
Secretary Clinton, before we get to you...
What does the Queen of Fracking have to say, Anderson?
Secretary Clinton's going to be able to respond, but Senator Sanders, you've been very tough lately. Last week, you said this about Secretary Clinton, quote, "Just as I believe you can't take on Wall Street while taking their money, I don't believe you can take on climate change effectively while taking money from those who would profit off the destruction of the planet." Are you suggesting that she's in the pocket of the fossil fuel industry?
No, what I am suggesting is that we have a corrupt campaign finance system. And instead of standing up to that finance system, Secretary Clinton has a super PAC, which is raising huge amounts of, I hate to say the word huge, every time I say huge, it means what? A lot of money from Wall Street and from the fossil fuel industry. I am doing it a different way. I have 5 million individual contributors who have gone to BernieSanders.com to make a $27 contribution.
Thank you, Senator.
I don't take money.
Go and do it right now. Go and make a payment to Bernie right now, please.
Well, first,
whatever you can do.
I think I have the most comprehensive
BernieSanders.com
plan to combat climate change. It sets some very big goals. 500 million more solar panels deployed by the end of my first term, if I'm so fortunate to be president, and enough clean energy to power every home by the end of my second term. What I am looking at is how we make the transition from where we are today to where we must be. I worked with President Obama during the 4 years I was Secretary of State.
How many times can you bring up Obama in one
China and
friggin' debate?
And other countries to join with us to have a global agreement, which we finally got in Paris. So I am committed to and focused on.
You were not Obama's vice president, Hillary.
We're taking away the subsidies for oil and gas. But it is important that people understand that A president can't go ordering folks around.
Secretary.
Our system doesn't permit that. I'm going to set the goals. I will push everybody as hard as I can
Secretary.
to achieve those goals.
Just before
We
you-
will make progress on clean
Aw.
renewable energy
Secretary.
and create millions of jobs through that.
Bernie side eye right there. You got the Bernie side eye. Woo! Bernie side eye was awesome.
Senator Sanders.